Hello, Kumen229 here with another Topic of the Week video, and this week I'll be talking about episodes 42 and 43 of the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime, also known as the Brock and Misty episodes. This week's topic was submitted by Tumblr user ghostboyjames, and their topic is: once the Misty and Brock episodes from the Sun and Moon series airs, I'm thinking a review of both episodes would make for a great topic video. You are right, Ghostboyjames! So I'm not going to be doing like a full in-depth review, because that would take too long. But I am going to go through the episodes and talk about them because, oh my gosh, I love them so much. I already talked about the importance of this in a previous topic, or not a previous topic video, just a regular video. But this episode, alright, let's talk about episode 42 first. Episode 42 is just a fan service extravaganza. It's literally what it is. We have so many references to the original series, particularly a lot of stuff in, Kanto. Excuse me. And even from, not just the stuff that we saw in the trailers, we see the Squirtle Squad again, and we haven't seen the Squirtle Squad in a long time. And sure, yeah, they don't actually do anything in the episode. It's literally just seeing the Rotom Pokedex take a picture of them. We see Jigglypuff come back and doing exactly what I wanted Jigglypuff to do. She sang, everyone fell asleep. And there's a hilarious moment when we see the some of the girls from the Alola group are like, oh my gosh, Jigglypuff, it's so cute, I've always wanted to see a Jigglypuff. And you see the original trio are like, no, it's the microphone, it's that Jigglypuff, it's that Hellspawn Jigglypuff. And they then everyone falls asleep, and then Jigglypuff squiggles all over their faces. And an interesting little teaser at the end of episode 43 when they're flying back to Alola. You see Jigglypuff is stowing away on the plane, so I think we might see Jigglypuff again. So I'm actually kind of funny that it's kind of funny that they're going to be bringing that back. There's so much that goes on, and I will say, if I have to judge episode 42 as a story, it's kind of a mess. It's literally just scene, little to no actual transitions between them. But I don't care, because it was fun to watch, and that's really the important part here. This isn't supposed to be super deeply written. No, look, we remember the continuity. Here's all these great scenes. Like when Ash first comes in, he sees his 30 Tauros that he caught, and he's just like, my Tauros! And then they run him over, and he goes flying, and he gets blasted off again, complete with a little ding! There's some nice interactions between some of the characters and, the Brock and Misty and the Alola characters. I know a lot of people were waiting to see Misty and, I think her name is Lana? The girl who has a Poplio, since she loves water types, like seeing them interact, and they do interact because her Poplio goes missing, and, then Misty's like, let's go search for the, in the lake. She changes to a swimsuit and just immediately jumps in the lake, and they swim around to find it, we see Brock's Marowak interact with an Alola Marowak, and they're just, at each other, so that was funny. A nice point that I do need to talk about here is that I do like how they brought up the type advantages and disadvantages. When I went back and rewatched the original series, I got frustrated during numerous battles when type advantages were, how do I put it, not relevant. Even ones that are significant, like ground type advantages against, electricity where they're immune. You see Pikachu use a Thunderbolt on a ground type and knock it out, and just like, it doesn't work like that. Thankfully later, Seasons eventually ended up figuring this one out. And it is nice to see this referenced numerous times in these, episodes 42 and 43 of Sun and Moon. Particularly when everyone's getting shocked, Brock's Marowak is sitting there, and he's not affected. He's literally just like, what's wrong with you guys? So, I did like that, and I do like how they brought up in episode 43 when they, they actually show in the battle the type differences between the regular types and the Alola forms of the Pokemon. And they do show off the different types in episode 42. Like when you see an executor and you see the Alola form and it's like super, super tall. And they're just like, wow, the ones here in Kanto are kind of small. It's like, no, this is just their normal size. You see a Marowak and a Alola Marowak, then a Brock's Geodude, and then an Alola Geodude. And when they're in battle, you see some of the Alola characters try to use attacks that they, by their logic, should work, but they're not taking into account that it's a Kanto type, or the original type of that Pokemon, not the Alola form, and some of them have drastic differences in their types. So I do like how they brought that up. I thought that was neat, and I like how it was relevant to the actual battles. Episode 42 had a lot of nice little moments in it. Like I mentioned, like we see a little shot of the Squirtle Squad, and when I saw them again, I was like, Squirtle Squad, Squirtle Squad! Oh my gosh! Oh, I miss the Squirtle Squad so much. But we also see nice things like when Lily's Alola Vulpix, it sees a regular Ninetales, and this Ninetales, it goes up to the Ninetales, and the Ninetales just goes up and starts, licking the Vulpix. It's this cute little moment. I'm like, oh yeah. I also should talk about the beginning when they actually go to, they arrive in Kanto, because there's a nice scene when, like, we saw a lot of this in the trailer, so that's probably why I didn't think to talk about it, but we see, like, when, Ash first sees Brock and Misty, and we see them, interact for the first time, and it's great. That dynamic is still there. Particularly when, it's funny because Brock first goes up to Lily, and he sees that her Vulpix is sick, and he's like, hey, I'm working on being a Pokemon doctor. Let me see if there's anything wrong with your Vulpix, and he checks it out, and he's like, oh, it's just a little motion sickness, it should go away. I'm like, oh, yes, I like how that's brought up. And but it's funny because Brock says he is a Pokemon breeder, and he has training to be a Pokemon doctor. Now, I stopped watching during Hoenn, and I didn't pick it up again until Best Wishes, so I missed a lot of Brock. So I don't know if there's any point where Brock actually attained the status of a Pokemon breeder and now he's working on a Pokemon doctor. But regardless, it's nice to see that, especially since he always wanted to be working on becoming a Pokemon breeder, and now he's working on becoming a Pokemon doctor. I like seeing that. So, but I don't know if this was ever referenced at any point before, and it could have been at some point, but I liked seeing that, and I was just like, yes, Brock's dreams, he's accomplishing them. And it's really funny when we see the Team Rocket trio. I did think it's funny when they tried to they got called into Kanto coincidentally to show up for a little bit, and one thing that Meowth suggests is to get them honey-filled donuts for to make the rocket like some, I think it's, I don't know who this character is. I think she's like Giovanni's secretary or something, or whatever. She's someone in Team Rocket. But and Meowth's like, what if we get them this honey-filled donuts to make them feel better? And I'm just like, please tell me that's a reference as jelly-filled donuts. Please, please, please. I don't know if it is. It could just be a coincidence. But honey-filled donuts, bringing up an episode with that literally Brock is like 10 feet away at that point. I hope that's a reference to the infamous jelly-filled donuts line from the dub, because if it is, I will legitimately scream. But it is funny when Brock and Misty are with Ash and Team Rocket see them, and then they're like, oh, it's Brat Boy in the original, it's the original Brat Boys 1 and 2, and then the original Brat Girl. And I'm like, yes, the twerps. Oh, gosh. And seeing them recognize them and just call them names like that again. And they call them the original Brat Boys and the original Brat Twerp, or Brat Girl, again, throughout later in the episode. And it's funny to see that. And I'm guessing that Brock and, that Jesse and James do the original Team Rocket motto. I don't know, because it's in Japanese, but they do some of the similar lines, like, like when they're saying things like, to protect the world from devastation, to unite all to unite all people within our nations. And some of the lines are the same, and I guess they've been changing this, so I don't really remember. It's been a while, but regardless, if they are doing the original, I do actually like that. And it's funny seeing all these references. It's, even though a lot of this is in Japanese and they're using the Japanese names for the subs that I watched were used the Japanese names for the Pokemon, so that was a little confusing. But and some of the Japanese names, but I know that Kasumi is Misty, so but I really kind of would have liked if they used the English versions, but minor detail. That's just with the subs. I know they'll end up doing that with the dub later, but I don't know if I could watch the dub knowing that, you know, they're not the original voice actors, but, you know, I may at some point whenever they actually do release that. But yeah, the first episode 42 is, it's basically just a fun episode. When Team Rocket does attack them, and one of the things I thought was hilarious, absolutely hilarious with the episode was that the mech that they're in, it's a giant Meowth mech. It's got motion controlled in a 360 digital display in the cockpit, and it's motion controlled with Meowth. And I was laughing so hard because it's a Mobile Suit G Gundam reference. Literally, it's set up like a cockpit for a Gundam in Mobile Suit G Gundam. Of all the things I thought were going to be referenced, I knew there was going to be references to the original series, but a Mobile Suit G Gundam reference was not something I thought was going to be referenced. And as a fan, it's like the only Gundam series I watched to completion. So seeing that, I'm a fan of that version. So I was like, yes, yes. Yeah, very enjoyable. The episode, if you wanted to take it as a story, the first episode isn't really a story. It's just a bunch of scenes, but they're fun scenes. A lot of these scenes are callbacks to the OS. So this is what I wanted. This is what I expected, and this is a nice apology from the Pokemon anime team for, you know, the X and Y completely negating continuity, constantly, like, you know, refusing to, like, they stopped bringing, you know, previous companions back. X and Y really made no references to continuity, and, you know, especially after the Pokemon movie 20 fiasco, where they replaced Brock and Misty, and I already talked about that one. It's nice that they were like, okay, just, you know, fan service. All the fan service from the original series they want is just, oh, it was so nostalgic. Now, that's basically to sum up episode 42. It's a bunch of nostalgia, and I'm not gonna lie, when I saw Mew, I legitimately screamed. I was like, oh my gosh, Mew! Of all, like, because we see the Rotom Pokedex it was going through Professor Oak's, you know, reservation for all the Pokemon, and he's like, okay, I got all of them except one, and I'm sure he's missing a few legendaries from the Kanto Dex, like the legendary birds, and no, they wouldn't know about Mewtwo. Mewtwo wouldn't be an official Pokemon, considering everyone forgot about the first movie. But you know, he's like, all right, I only got one left, and then there's me, freaking Mew, just sitting in the bushes, looking, and he's like, only one you missing, right? And then he just flies off. Mew continuing to be the biggest troll in the universe. Oh, that was great. But yeah, there's a lot of nice moments, a lot of comedy, a lot of... we see Misty's fear of bug Pokemon, and Ash is just like, what, you're still afraid of bug Pokemon? Misty's sitting there behind a tree like, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to go over literally everything in this episode, though. Something to point out, Tracy doesn't appear, nor is he mentioned, and I saw a lot of people were upset about this. But of all the things that could have gone wrong, I think Tracy not being referenced or just not being in the episode, I don't particularly think that's as big of a deal. I just don't, I mean, I like Tracy, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed his character, and even though he was used as basically just a replacement for Brock, I liked his character, but I don't think, like, of all the things, we're getting Brock and Misty back. Misty is, you know, kind of more important than Tracy in terms of the, you know, the series. So I'm glad we got this back, and that's just a minor point. So for episode 43, they all go to the Cerulean Gym, which got one hell of an upgrade. It used to just be like a one building. Now it's just like this giant complex with these nice like glass walls, and it's this huge like battle arena that can change, and it can fill with water, it can drain the water and turn it into a rock stage, and like that's slick. And honestly, I do hope we see more of Cerulean Gym later, because I want to see more of this renovated one. It's actually really neat that they did that. Like, that it's upgraded so much, and it's like, no, this is freaking cool. So much better than the last time we saw Cerulean Gym. But it's funny because Misty's sisters aren't there, and you can actually see at the end of 42 when they're driving up, Brock's like, wait, your pretty sisters aren't there? And I'm just like, Brock, you scallywag, never change. And it's kind of funny though, because that that gag with Brock is really only used twice in these episodes. One with the flight attendant, and another with him being disappointed about not being able to see Misty's sisters. And it's funny because that joke became so overused in the from the original series up to Diamond and Pearl. Just having that be mostly just Brock's character was, I know that's it got old. Even in the OS, it did start getting old. But one thing I do like with Brock's character is they do mention his family, his brothers and sisters. So I was like, and they showed a little cartoony drawing of them, and I'm like, yeah, Brock's family. I like them being mentioned. They don't show up or do anything, but he does mention them, and I did like that. So when they do the battle, it's a lot of battles. Obviously the Lola characters want to battle Brock and Misty, and you see like they fight back a little bit, and of course the main attraction for this, for the audience really, is Ash versus Misty, and that's the big one. But you see Brock and Misty when they're fighting, and they have the Mega Evolutions, where he has a Mega Evolution, Brock has a Mega Evolution for his Steelix, and Misty has a Mega Evolution for her Gyarados, which I mentioned in the last video, the one talking about Brock and Misty, that she did catch a Gyarados in the Pokemon Chronicles episode. So, excuse me. So it's nice to see that Gyarados come back, even though I actually never watched that episode. I didn't even know about Pokemon Chronicles for years, but it is funny when you see them, do the Mega Evolution, activate the Mega Evolutions, that Brock and Misty do their original red and blue sprite poses, where Misty does this, and then Brock, takes off his shirt. He literally rips his shirt off and goes like this, just like their original sprites. And you can look them up, like what their sprites look like. And it was like, wow. And even Misty's, the bathing suit that she wears, it's very similar to the one she wore in her original game sprite, but the colors match the fire red leaf green bathing suit that she wore. So that is a nice detail. That is... I did not expect them to be making original game references, which earns them extra nostalgia points. But when we see... I don't know his name. He's the guy with the Marowak, the hot-headed guy. He wanted to fight Brock, and he ends up ultimately losing to Brock's Mega Steelix. And then Misty and Brock do, they do little battles with the other ones, and they reference, it's a lot of showing different, the different types, really, because you see one, I think I mentioned this, where the guy uses an electric attack on Geodude, but he mistook it for the type matchups with a Alola Geodude. So I did like seeing that referenced, and seeing the different types be relevant to the battle. I think I already said it verbatim earlier, but regardless, it's nice to see. Then you see Misty go up against, I believe it was Lily and Lana, and the other, I don't really remember their names. The only one I really know is Lily, because I remember her from the game, from Pokemon Sun and Moon. But when you see them battle Misty, and it's funny because she brings out Psyduck, and Psyduck, oh my gosh, and it's so funny because Misty loves Psyduck now, because she used to hate Psyduck, and Psyduck would come out and screw things up for her. But we see she actually chooses Psyduck, because when they go in the gym, they see Psyduck again, and they're fighting Psyduck, and Misty is like 100% confident, let's do this, Psyduck! And she tells him to use confusion, and then they're like, is he gonna do anything? And Misty's just sitting there like, yeah, just go ahead and hit him. And ultimately Psyduck ends up, hitting his head, and he's just like, whoa! And he overpowers all their Pokemon. And I'm just like, yes! Oh, I love seeing that. And I love seeing, and then she goes up and she's all hugging Psyduck, talking about how much she loves it, and how great he is, and I'm like, yes! Oh my gosh, and it's funny seeing the characters go up and like, Pikachu being happy to see Psyduck again. And these little interactions with the Pokemon are nice. The little high five Geodude gives. I liked seeing, those are nice moments. But really the big one came with Ash getting super excited to see Misty fight, and getting super excited to, battle Misty and it's Pikachu versus her Gyarados. And, it's funny because they did bring back the totally, stupid strategies from the original series, where Misty uses Rain Dance and Hurricane and traps Pikachu in a vortex, and it's funny because her Rain Dance would actually also makes electric types more powerful, but it is funny because Gyarados through strategy and basically a big stinking pile of FU lightning manages to not be affected by that. But when but Pikachu gets stuck in this hurricane, this tornado, is tornado of water, and it's like, and Misty's like, ha, no one's ever beaten this combination before of all the people who've tried to battle me. It's and then Ash is just like, run up the sides, Pikachu, and then Pikachu just runs right up he uses quick attack to dart up the oh, all this whole running on water thing, just using electricity as a footing, and I'm just like, yeah, that's classic Pokemon right there. That is classic Pokemon. Those stupid, nonsensical strategies that they come out for the win, and then Ash uses the Z move, and Misty's Gyarados, and ends up knocking Misty's Mega Gyarados out, which I kind of wanted Misty to win, just because, when she comes back. But the fact that they establish that she is more or less close to being unbeaten in her normal fights is great. But another moment I almost forgot. I can't believe I almost forgot this. Ash, mentions that he got the gym badges for the Pewter City Gym and the Cerulean City Gym, and then Misty's like, yeah, you got ours out of pity. You didn't actually win. And then the Alolan guys are like, hey Ash, is that true? And Ash is like, no, that's not true. Oh wow, why would you be talking about that? And I'm like, yes, because I remember rewatching the OS. I would say a good 60 to 80% of the badges Ash got over the course of Kanto and Johto, he won either out of pity or because he did something else that helped them out, and they're like, hey, you helped us out, here's a gym badge. You earned it. So I didn't like how they brought that back and called Ash out. And then at the end, Brock and Misty give them replicas of the badges. They're not official badges. So it just the, hey, we just had fun, here's some replicas. And and there's a nice bit at the end where of Ash and Misty's battle where they have that classic OS banter where she's, talking, oh, you're pretty great. He says, yeah, but you still act like a kid. And he's like, I'm not acting like a kid. And she's like, you're proving my point. And Ash is like, you got me there. And he's like, Urgh. And I love that. Oh my gosh, a lot of people were worried that they'd be sort of sanitized, just being, oh, we're such great friends. No, they got that. Misty still got that sass with Ash. And I'm surprised she didn't bring up her bike. That would have been funny. But it was nice to see those interactions again, just reminding us of the original series. Reminding us why we love these characters and their interactions so much from the original series. And then at the end, after they're saying goodbye at the airport, and Misty is getting really excited over, Ash's the Z ring for the Z move, and she does a little forehead poke on him, and she's getting all into space, and then they're chatting about the, the Z ring, and she's like, "Hey, give it to me." Like, I like this, and Ash is like, "Oh no, it's mine." They're acting like kids. But what I did, a little nice moment, is that Ash tells Brock and Misty hey, you guys should come to Alola sometime. And they're like, we definitely will. So a lot of people are kind of hyped that Brock and Misty might actually just go to Alola again. And I would really hope so. I really do hope so. Like, I mentioned this before in my last Pokemon video, where I talked about that this opens up the door to Brock and Misty coming back, to seeing more characters come back. So I would love to see them come back, and I mean, I would love to see another, companion, like maybe May comes along, but even if it's just Brock and Misty, I'll be happy. But I like that they're opening the door to that again, that after spending so long trying to deny it, they're like, no, this is fun, we had fun, the characters had fun, you guys had fun, let's do this again sometime. And I hope so. It's not a for sure thing. It's not like the Pokemon anime team have come out and said, yeah, we're bringing them back again. It's just leaving the door open that at some point along the line, Brock and Misty could come to Alola. And that other characters could too. We might, and I know I really do want to see someone like Iris come in, because Iris was denied her cameo, but I do really hope that they do this again sometime, because this was fun. These are two of the most refreshing Pokemon episodes I've seen in a long time. Even though I haven't really been watching it, seeing this again, the unabashed nostalgia, the whole attitude of just having fun with this, I loved that so much. And I mean, I could actually say, and I have to bring this up because I know a lot of this is a point of contention with the anime, the art, the new anime with the art style, the animation. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of the Sun and Moon art style. The animation is actually really good. It's pretty solid animation too, so that's not really an issue. It's the art style looks weird sometimes. Characters like Ash look odd in the new style. Brock looks a little weird since Brock's face is very angular, and then it's a lot softer with a lot, more curved edges. Where and it's just something. I mean, they're still recognizable. It's just I kind of wish they didn't go as far with the art style change, because I remember when I first saw it, I was like, wow, that looks terrible. And in motion, it looks fine. It's just that some of the character design seems... The new characters are fine. It's just returning characters that seem a little weird, seeing them so radically different. I do think that if I would actually suggest a change to this, it would just be move a little farther back, not completely. I don't want it to go back to the original. It doesn't have to, because I do like the way they animate it. I just think that, I mean, even characters like Misty actually look really good in the new style, but maybe change it just a tad bit so that it doesn't look so completely different, but keep the way they're animating and the expressive way they're doing it. I like that. So, but ultimately, regardless of any issues I have with the art style, that did not at all affect my enjoyment of the episodes. These are two of my favorite episodes of Pokemon, period, and what they represent is just as big, if not bigger, than just how fun they are. Because this is the anime team going, we do remember, and we will, we can bring back companions again and just have fun with it. Even Misty, who hadn't been in the anime for 12 years, has only been seen in flashbacks, but never actually shown up as her character. It's nice to see that, and it was good. I almost cried because I was so happy with all the nostalgia. So I think that's about it for this. I've talked plenty about these episodes. I probably talked a lot longer than I planned to. But yeah, so if you want to submit a topic to me, just comment below if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Tumblr, send me an ask and do topic : then whatever topic you want me to talk about. If you want to watch last week's topic video, you can check that out here. If you want to watch next week's topic video, you can check that out here when I get that done. And thank you for watching.